guys, it's Sophia with Kamikaze Kiwi, and due to popular demand, today our Misidentities episode is about how Zelda is not Link. So, throughout the Legend of Zelda series, which there's a lot of them, and I am going to actually go through the original series and list all of them for you here in a second, there is some confusion because a lot of people, especially non-gamers or people who are not familiar with the series, they tend to call Link Zelda because Legend of Zelda and Zelda is in the title. But the series is not actually named after its protagonist, which is supposed to be a blank slate. But we'll get to that in a second. First, I want to name all of the official Legend of Zelda games. Starting with the original Nintendo system, you have Legend of Zelda, which is the first one. Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. So, at least Link is in the title now. Then you have Super Nintendo, which you have Link to the Past. Ancient Stone Tablets, which is actually released in Japan only and was like an addition to the dungeons and things from Link to the Past. Then for Game Boy, you have Link's Awakening. For 64, you have Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. For Game Boy Color, you have Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages. For GameCube, you have Wind Waker, Four Swords Adventures, and Twilight Princess. For Game Boy Advance, you have the Minish Cap. For Wii, you have Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword. For the DS, you have Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. For the 3DS, you have A Link Between Worlds and Triforce Heroes. And then for the Wii U and Nintendo Switch, you have the latest one that just came out, which is Breath of the Wild. And that's all just the ones in the official series. That's not including any sort of spin-offs. That's not including the Philips CDI games. That's not including any of that. This is just the main core series, which is also where they get most of their timeline from. Now, a big mistake as far as why oftentimes Link is called Zelda is because, like I said, his name wasn't in the title of the original one. And even then is kind of not always in the title. It's always a Legend of Zelda game. And this, especially at the time, whenever you're talking about like early Nintendo days, almost all games were named after either the protagonist or exactly what you do. Like Excite Bike was about bikes. Super Mario was about Mario. Even whenever you start doing things like Sonic the Hedgehog, almost all the times the title was about the protagonist. But say Miyamoto specifically didn't want a name for the hero. He wanted you to be the hero, which is also why you got to name your character. And in the manual in particular, it says this: Link the hero does not exist yet. You create Link by first registering your player name. So he really wanted it to be a blank slate for you to project yourself as a hero on. This is a marketing nightmare, a branding nightmare, and a manual game nightmare. So then they decided to default the name Link, because it was always assumed that this character, and it was always a part of the story that this character, this hero, was actually going to be a time traveler of sorts. And so it is actually a direct reference to a Link from the past and the present. Now, there is some confusion sometimes because, for instance, young Link is often voiced by a female. If you put in Google, is Zelda, the very thing that pops up is a boy or girl. She is a character later in some of the other series called Sheik, and she wears traditionally male clothing, but recognizes herself as a woman throughout the entire series. It's never a question. Nintendo has put out official statements that Zelda, no matter her incarnation at the moment, is a woman, is a girl, is a female. There is a female version of Link from Hyrule Warriors, which is a spin-off series where Link is a girl named Linkle, does not wear a hat, wears a hoodie, and does not use a sword and shield, but actually 2 crossbows, so that's interesting. Now, you might be saying, well, if the story is about the hero, why on earth call it The Legend of Zelda? Zelda is actually the thing that kept most of the series together, and the legend, or the story, or the mythos, is actually handed down through Zelda's bloodline, not through Link's. oftentimes the hero doesn't know that they're the hero until the legend is told to them, until they are told that they're the sought after person. So that is why it's actually the Legend of Zelda. Zelda is the one who hands it down. And my time is up. I hope that explained a little bit of it. I do plan on continuing to do a kind of misidentities theme for a couple things. There are a few other topics that I want to talk about in that same realm. If you have any suggestions for next time, misidentities or otherwise, please put it down in the comments below. I would love to hear your opinion. Tell me why you think Legend of Zelda is called Legend of Zelda if Zelda is not the hero. Let me know if you think Zelda should be the hero. I would love a predominantly Zelda-led game, personally. I think it would be great. I actually love fighting as Zelda in Hyrule Warriors. It's one of my favorites. And, of course, give me ideas and suggestions for topics for next time. Something that you want to take 5 minutes to talk about. Like, comment, subscribe, all those things that you're supposed to say at the end of a video. And I hope that you guys have a great weekend.